The global reach of the UK Liberal Democrat Party. The UK Liberal Democrats are the UK's third national party. However, they are the UK's leading political party in global reach. This is in marked contrast with the UK trend towards isolationism, jingoism and nationalism.
Political ideas of democracy and freedom have been around for millennia. 800 years ago, they were expressed within our own shores in the Great Charter of Freedoms, the Magna Carta.
But it wasn't until the early 19th century that the predecessors of the UK Liberal Democrats in Europe and elsewhere first brought liberal democratic ideas together as a coherent system. Until then, and perhaps still today for much of the world, weak or absent democracy and rights has been the norm. UK Lib Dems continue this age-old fight for democratic progress. As a party and as individuals, they also campaign for democracy and rights globally, and they focus on UK foreign policy, which often connects the two. In particular, they hold the UK government to account over foreign interventions, trade policy, and support for anti-democratic regimes.
Independently and through Liberal International and the Alliance of Liberals and Democrats for Europe, the UK Liberal Democrats support sister parties around the globe. Liberal Democrats frequently engage in election monitoring and international training, for example at the European Women's Academy and African Liberal Network.
Senior party figures take key issues to the United Nations with the UN Human Rights Council and elsewhere.
Through these many initiatives, the party is also better able to see the bigger picture in public policy and economics in an international context.
The Lib Dems' global reach can have a profound impact. In Europe today, via Lib Dem European Group and other institutions, the Lib Dems work with colleagues globally on climate change, gender equality, and LGBTQ+ rights. This continues the extraordinary pan-European impact Liberal Democrat MEPs historically had in the European Parliament.
The Lib Dems' principled opposition to the Iraq War in 2003 still resonates today. It underpins support for rules-based global governance and scrutiny of UK adherence to international law.
Whether or not Chinese economic growth can be attributed to economic liberalization or state-led development, its one-party system poses clear challenges for advocates of liberal democracy. Liberal Democrats have been active in assessing the impact of the so-called Belt and Road Initiative, especially how it exacerbates African and Southeast Asian debt. They have also been strongly in support of problem-solving at the periphery of colonial China, with the Uyghurs in Xinjiang, the citizens of Hong Kong, with Tibet, and with the threat of military action against Taiwan.
Long-term work over human rights also continues in places like Myanmar, Cameroon, Kashmir, Venezuela and other parts of Latin America, the wider Middle East, and peacemaking in the Balkans, most famously with the late Paddy Ashdown's historical role. Prominent Lib Dems have worked through diplomacy inside Afghanistan to lessen the impact of the war for ordinary citizens and to help evacuate UN, UK and other vital personnel after the Taliban retook control.
With globalization, the need for stronger global rule of law has been paramount. However, the more recent development of international law has coincided with an increase in geopolitical rivalry, especially between US and China. Might is right has often prevailed, and that trend needs to be reversed. Both China and the US have ridden roughshod over landmark decisions in international law which have gone against them.
London is the global centre of international public and private law, but its preeminent position has been dented by the UK failing to heed decisions, for example over the Chagos Islands, and over Brexit.
This means Liberal Democrats have international rule of law battle lines at home as well as across the globe.
UK Lib Dem MEPs were instrumental in establishing the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, which came into force in 2002, creating the permanent International Criminal Court in The Hague. A proud achievement.
One example of the Lib Dems working on the front lines of democratic progress is Cambodia. In Cambodia, Lib Dems brought reversals of democracy and the complete ban on the main opposition party to the UN Human Rights Council, and were instrumental in getting the EU to activate human rights clauses in their trade agreement. This later led to Liberal Democrats opposing the UK's post-Brexit EU replacement trade deal with Cambodia, where these types of human rights clauses were omitted, as they have been with Turkey and other countries with human rights issues to address, establishing a distinctive pattern of government behaviour.
Liberal Democrats have been involved with other front lines, such as over the reversals of autonomy in Anglophone Cameroon, and resisting dictatorship, gender inequality, and corruption in the rest of Africa, including via the African Liberal Network. Liberal Democrats have resisted cruel oppression in Darfur, helped homeless children in Nigeria, and have supported women's groups in African conflict zones.
The party has a robust system of international institutions, including the Federal International Relations Committee and its two subcommittees on China and Europe, the latter of which is closely integrated with Lib Dem European Group. In addition, the party has the Lib Dems overseas, with large numbers of active members in 5 continents across the world. There are also country-specific organizations, like the Chinese Lib Dems.
Lib Dems in international development make a major contribution to changing global aid policy and the Sustainable Development Goals, working with the United Nations, and opposing aid cuts back home. Policy forums are held by the Liberal International British Group and the Paddy Ashdown Forum, with audiences from around the world.
In times of UK isolationism, these many links help keep the UK Liberal Democrats outward-looking and able to see UK events as part of the bigger picture. Former MEPs have developed an international network, keeping the European dream alive.
Promoting liberal democratic principles and values across the 4 corners of the earth helps citizens to resist dictatorship, and it also helps develop closer relations with diaspora in the UK.
The UK is not an isolated, sealed unit. World events, global best practice, and cooperative endeavour all really matter if the United Kingdom is to progress.
Please support us.